The No Merchant Run isn't an official challenge in-game, but one I've always wanted to try. The reason being, the Merchant is one of the key tools in the game as he's responsible for upgrading your guns and inventory, and sells you new and powerful weapons later in the game. So beating the game without him is a bad but funny idea, but most of all, really difficult to pull off. So without further ado, let's get into it. We start off a little rocky, as like most of my runs, I first need to get used to the controls. I wiped the first few enemies and of course saved the dog. We had a few more enemies littered about who we take care of until we made it to the main square, where we start one of the most insane intros in all of game. Our first move here was to obviously grab the shotgun, as it will be useful in stunning enemies and taking out bosses during this run. This is clearly shown in this clip where one shot stops the entire crowd, and after a few close encounters with the doctor... Ooh, that's scary. That's cool. That's scary, that's cool. Amazing. That's scary. I decided to camp the rest of the timer at the top of the tower. The villagers started lighting me up immediately, but the timer was finished, thankfully. I looted the rest of the village quickly and made my way to the farm. These guys were pretty chill, so I just stole their stuff and ran past them. Moving on, I tried to shoot them from afar, but Leon's weapon sway was insane, so I waited for them to blow each other up or just shot the dynamite in their hands. I wanted to have a good impression on Lewis, so I fixed up my inventory before saving him. I think it's hilarious how Leon's first thought is to kick the 7-foot giant man like it was gonna do something. When we wake up, we're introduced to the merchant, but I must refuse his services, and I'm not gonna kill him because he's just a small business owner trying to get by. This section is the first time I'll run into trouble, as it's very easy to get overwhelmed by the waves of enemies, like I did here. I'm starting to thingy. To make sure this didn't happen again, I camped the entrance so they could either bunch up or blow each other up. Oh my god, thank god. Making our way up, we get the first key part and move quickly towards the second part so the horde wouldn't catch up to me. I did act a little risky here, but the loot was worth it. Moving further into the village, I don't know what this building is or what it's used for, but I do know that I probably should have restarted this section, as I ended up wasting all of my heals here, with a series of bad decisions. Somehow I found my way out of there and we entered the domain of the Big Cheese, but thankfully there was a mysterious woman in red, who is obviously Ada, helped us out. Is there anything in here, or do we just interrupt bro's piss time for nothing? Oh my god. This guy touches us with his pee-pee hands, which I did not appreciate. There was a doctor outside, but I had a feeling he wouldn't prescribe me any antibiotics. Finally reaching the church that everybody was crazy about, there's an underground passage that takes us to the cemetery. There shouldn't have been anything to worry about, but I still screwed it up and took some stupid damage. Ah! I don't care. I'm angry with you guys. You guys have been bad. There we go. I was hoping that the flash grenade would give me a bunch of ammo, but it ended up giving me a pile of dead crows instead. So after completing our second QTE and receiving a Leon booty shot, it's time to traverse through the swamp area, which, again, should have been easy, but again, I took some stupid damage. And not wanting to deal with these guys anymore, I just moved on. Making it up to a vantage point, we see what happens if you make fun of Leon's alleged makeup. And, as you guessed, we now have to fight this lake monster named Del Lago. He's not that awful to deal with, but it's probably one of my least favorite fights because I find it really boring. He also loves staying underwater to avoid the sharp harpoons in his ass, understandably, but that just causes the fight to drag. I usually die a couple of times here, but this time I was able to beat him with only one heal being used, so I was pretty proud of myself for that. Whoa! Also, I don't know what it is about Leon taking naps during his missions, but bro needs to be introduced to coffee. It's now nighttime and new monsters await us in the dark, like this guy who insta-dies if you throw a flash grenade at him. There's a waterfall here that we need to redirect, so we craft ourselves a DIY parkour stage. However, when we redirect this water, the villagers did not appreciate it and a horde was approaching us. I should have just been able to knife these guys into the water, but yep, you guessed it, I stood too close to the edge, causing me to mess up my knifing and took some damage. It's not a big deal to be losing all of my materials in the village section, but this would later come back to bite me in the future. I don't know what kind of medieval technology you got going on there, but that's pretty cool. Our second boss fight is against El Gigante, who has one impressive intro. The strategy I used in this fight was to stun him with a hand grenade, then spam him in the face with the shotgun. My first try was a bust due to me standing too close to him and getting squished in the process. On my second attempt, I was much more careful about spacing this time. I still had some fails here and there, but with the help of the dog from earlier, El Gigante was dead in no time. Our path to the church was blocked by some wolves, but you can just easily run past them, so that's exactly what I did. Now, inside the church, I looted some barrels and quickly solved the puzzle, finally meeting Ashley.
Hey!
Traversing with Ashley is actually not that difficult. You just have to be careful to not shoot her on accident, like I did here.
Get away, get away.
Ouchies. Ah! Oh, my bad, bro. My bad.
No.
So, to make sure that Ashley was 100% safe, I disarmed all of the bear traps and killed all of the villagers, even if that was a little overkill. The farm area was also really easy, as I just made Ashley hide in a dumpster while I took care of everybody else. Down? Bro, you really thought you did something there, didn't you? Yeah, he did. But before we could escape the village, we crossed paths with Lewis again, and I'm still a little sad that they removed the ballistics line from the remake.
I see that the president's equipped his daughter with ballistics too.
How rude!
Okay, it's game time.
I first blocked the windows with the bookshelves and looted the entire house. The AI for Lewis actually goes a little crazy, because bro takes out Ganados left and right. I tried sticking strictly to my pistol, but when things started getting a little crazy, I had to switch to my shotgun. I then alternated between knocking down ladders and camping corners until I killed enough Ganados. When the horde cleared out, Lewis wandered off on his own once again. So, we continue our journey without him and make it to the infamous Choose Your Own Adventure spot. We of course took the El Gigante route where we got a little lost but found our way through eventually. We take this lift for a fight with the big cheese, and I always found it funny how these dudes just spawn out of thin air. The merchant tries to tempt us once again, but I refuse and only take the ammo he provides me. Although this fight looks intimidating at first, all you need to kill this guy is 4 incendiary grenades. First, run back into this corner and make sure to chuck them while he's out of his animations, as otherwise they won't count. Even when he breaks in half like a Kit Kat bar and he's swinging around, just stick to your corner and throw the grenade when he stops moving. And after 2 carefully thrown incendiary grenades, bro should just topple over. Now, all that's left in the village is to take the lift back and stop this truck from running us over. And funny enough, as long as you keep your eyes on the gate, the villager horde won't appear. Then we closed off the gate, finishing the village section. Also, I just wanted to mention how beautiful these chapter screens are. The castle welcomes us with 3 catapults, which aren't very hard to dodge, but still annoying to deal with. I also think it's quite hilarious how we hoist up a cannon and use it to blow up a gate. I don't know who came up with this idea, but I love you. Now entering the inner castle, this is where things take a turn for the worst, as the waves of enemies seen in the village was nothing compared to the castle. The rooms are now much more claustrophobic, and enemies have longer range weapons, causing them to be more troublesome. This is exemplified in this room where there is an archer at the top and 2 dudes with riot shields choking the narrow path. When we're done dealing with all that, we meet one of the funniest Resident Evil characters.
I've been expecting you, my brethren. Mr. Scott, you can give us the girl because you're not worth a penny, I'm afraid. You can die.
After bro blatantly trash talks us, we find our first boss in the castle, Garador. He's quite a nightmare to deal with, especially in this run, as getting close to him is guaranteed your death, but the only weapon you can use against him is the shotgun. I did fight this guy beforehand a couple of times, but I had to restart due to me not having enough ammo left for the water room. My rematch with Garador was not much better, as he is one fast boy, and caught me twice even before I could make a move. After a bit of testing, I found out incendiary grenades worked well against him, so I just used those to quickly finish the fight. Now it was time for the infamous water room. I'm pretty sure all of you know why this section is so hard and annoying, but I'll give you a quick recap anyway. Once you enter the room, you're greeted with 7 dudes on the ground and 2 archers in the back. Then when you kill those dudes, there's an immediately rush of reinforcements that come in from the side rooms. The best strategy I found was to hunker down in the underground room and kill all of the enemies entering through the door. Then once that's done, go back upstairs, and while Ashley does the cranking, you protect her from the 2 archers and the incoming dudes. But that's easier said than done, so here's a compilation of my death scenes. When I finally succeeded in cranking the stairs, I had to restart as there were like 7 dudes looking at me who all wanted me very dead. But when I reloaded, the absence of enemies here allowed me to loot the previous area, even if the only useful thing was an incendiary grenade and a first aid spray. But the thing that annoyed me was that I had to go loot the downstairs twice as I died again while protecting Ashley. Finally, when we're loaded back, I managed to lock in and keep the dudes away from Ashley, and we hippity-hoppitied away to the I think Ashley was a little mad about me killing her multiple times by accident, and we got separated. The Navistadors are a little worrisome, but for the most part, they're not that hard to dodge. Sure, I still took a kick or 2 in the face, but nothing super terrible. Next up was the machine gun room, which was insultingly awful. The best way to deal with this room is to take out the 2 cultists with the barrel on the left, suplex the guy on the stairs, and then use an incendiary grenade and the barrel to take out the dudes on the bottom, then move quickly to catch up to the guy. But this really wasn't working for me as the dude would always run too fast and I would either die to his stupid machine gun or be caught up by other enemies. Finally, on the 6th try, I figured it out. I would just stun him with my shotgun blast, wait for him to get up, and stun him again. He took an incredible 9 shotgun shells and an incendiary grenade before he went down. Leon and Salazar talk face to face this time, and Bro leaves us yet again with a bunch of enemies to deal with. I first stunned everybody with a flash, took care of the 2 archers, and flipped the first switch. Dudes with RPGs will periodically show up, and they do a pretty good job of killing their own guys. Lastly, there's just a switch under a pot you gotta press, and you're done. Just grab your goat head part and skedaddle. And to finish off this section, all we gotta do is get through Salazar's garden. This part seems worrisome as there are wolves waiting for you inside, but as long as you look up, they won't hurt you for whatever reason. Just make sure you don't get lost like I did, or they will kill you.
Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh my god! That's a one-shot?!
So this time, I made sure to memorize the layout and successfully got out of there.
Oh shit!
The next thing we're thrown into is this cage with a Garrador. All you have to do is shoot the lock 3 times with your shotgun and you're out of there easy peasy. However, retrieving the magnum ammo in the same area is what provided us some trouble. I like this next area here because it's way more chill than the stuff we've been dealing with before. First of all the enemies are pretty easy to deal with as the game provides you with a ladder and a lamp you can shoot. And second of all, this room gives you a free frickin' rocket launcher. But you know what's not awesome? Watching our homeboy Lewis die shortly after.
Lewis! Lewis!
After witnessing that tragedy, I looted the place, and I wasted a bunch of time as I killed Ashley immediately. And on my second try, I lasted a little longer, but ended up killing her anyway. And then on my third try, I shot her again. I don't know what's wrong with me. But finally on my 4th try, I killed all the enemies for Ashley, and she was able to grab the key and get out. So switching to Ashley, as tradition, we die in the first 10 seconds, cause I messed something up. And when I regained consciousness, we crawled through the hole in the wall, cooked the absolute shit out of Bro, and that made it easy for us to crank open the gate. All that's left is to solve the sliding puzzle, get our snake part, and avoid some scary dudes so we can get back to Leon. We then take the most ridiculous looking ride in the entire game and enter the lava dungeon. I don't know the logistics behind this, but I'm not gonna question it. Grabbing our final stone tablet, we backtrack through the castle in order to get the broken butterfly, the 4th and final free gun. Then after a short minecart ride, we're now done with the initial castle section. So delving further into the castle, we now must complete 2 rooms in order to proceed. The first one requires us to stand on all pressure plates, ignore an obvious opportunity to shoot Salazar, and shoot these guys in the face. Which, funny enough, never knew they were one shot no matter what. We then grab my favorite treasure piece in the game and grab the Queen's Grail. The second room is really easy as you can just walk in and grab the King's Grail. What's hard is getting out of the room as 4 knights in not so shining armor come to kill you. They spawn in 2 waves and are very resistant to damage. I found the shotgun to be the best weapon against these guys, but since the fire rate is so slow and it takes forever to reload, it made me a very easy target to slash open. Additionally, there's 4 of them coming at you at once, and their heads can even turn into weapons. There was a lot of failing that happened here, but after so much trial and error, you're bound to succeed eventually. Salazar, who's probably watching us from afar, sends in dudes to get in our way, but there's nothing a little hand grenade can't handle. We give the goblets to their respective statues, opening the gate. Things were relatively chill in this hall, but we should have known better because Ashley gets kidnapped. Again, by a Novistador. I really didn't want to deal with these guys again, but if you run back and jump through this window, they can't come through for some reason, making it as easy as shooting fish in a barrel. So after a very hard fight, we're awarded with a pile of loot. Time was running out to save Ashley, but I was a little preoccupied.
Can you save me some kiwi? Like 2 slices? Yeah, could you save me 2 slices?
I gotta go throw it at this kiwi situation. Making our way into the tower, we start by fixing the gears so we can make our bridge to Ashley. Once that's done, a wave of enemies will spawn in. I started out with taking out the stupid archers, and the dynamite dude took care of himself. For the rest of the ganados waiting downstairs, I knocked them down like bowling pins and walked away. For the guys waiting for me outside, a flash grenade worked perfectly. Once inside, I used my RPG for the 2 Garradors, not knowing that 2 magnum shots is all that's needed to kill them. Going back to back with bosses here, it's now Verdugo time. He's quite terrifying, not gonna lie, but honestly, as long as you're good with QTEs, you'll be fine. The elevator does take a while to come up, as even after using all of the nitrogen tanks, I was still stuck waiting with him for my ride. The boss rush continues on, as once we get down into the mines, we have another boss fight right after, but the game gives us a grace period with Dr. Salvador to, I guess, detox? And once we're out of there, we get dropped into a room with 2 El Gigantes. I'm not 100% sure, but I have a feeling that the El Gigante with the chains is much stronger, so I spent a few minutes running around so he could be dropped into the lava. For the second guy, I spammed the shotgun in his face, but took too long to get on his back. I repeated my steps so I could get back to just the 1 El Gigante, and although it took a million trips back and forth using up all my shotgun ammo and a little bit of magnum, that he finally went down. But oh my god, the section right after this was far from a cakewalk. In fact, it was the single most hardest section in the entire run, where I racked up more deaths than anywhere else. I didn't see anyone else complaining about this section, but this part was ridiculous. Initially, it isn't that bad. There's a couple of Novistadors to deal with, but nothing too crazy. You have to flip 2 switches, like always, to lighten up the next path. The first switch spawns in a gang of Novistador, but it's doable. But when you flip that second switch, all hell breaks loose, as a dozen of them come and raid your position, ready to puke or kick you in the face. And as you guessed, the path to progress is directly behind them, meaning you either have to get through all of them or somehow walk past them.
Oh my god, what the f*** is this, the Oompa Loompas?
Which, as you guessed, is very difficult. I don't know who programmed this part, but I think I kinda hate you. And after dying so many freaking times, I decided to sit down and figure out what I'm gonna do. And after a few more times of trial and error, I figured that the horde that spawns in after the first switch can be ignored. But these Oompa Loompa guys have to be shot down quickly with a shotgun. Then, after you push the second switch, you can use 2 flash grenades consecutively and just run. Run as fast as you can and don't look back. If you complete that, congratulations. Continuing underground, there's 2 chainsaw dudes waiting for me in this building, but they're easily stunned with the shotgun, so there's nothing to worry about. After that, we're all set for the minecart ride. This part is usually one of my favorite parts in the game, and it should have been easy, but the whole no merchant thing made it a little more difficult. I think the part that messed me up the most is letting people join my cart when I shouldn't have. And on my 4th try, we safely got out of there. Moving on, I think whoever designed this level was just trolling, because what the heck is this? But putting that aside, this part was actually really difficult and frustrating. First of all, there's way too many dudes here, and I also didn't have any heals for the fight, meaning if I was hit once, I was practically dead, which made the next few minutes pretty fun. When you're done switching the two levers, you get awarded with one of the stupidest cutscenes, and after dealing with this and the Navistador part all in one night, I had to take a breather. Oh my god. Salazar congratulates us on our many feats, and Leon shows his gratitude by throwing a knife at him. I know Salazar is evil and all, but that was kinda mean. And while they take the elevator, we have to take the Donkey Kong ass stairs, which of course is quite deadly, so be careful around them. So following that advice, the first Ganado goes out in a blaze of glory. The second gets stun locked while I knife him, and the third gets a taste of his own medicine. Now all that's left was to take this elevator and kill Salazar, but you know, it's not gonna be that easy. First of all, there's dudes with bombs and crossbows littered around, and if more than 2 people get on this ride, it completely stops. I tried my best to fling them off with the shotgun or roundhouse kicks, but they would annoyingly cling on with the side rails, which made me very angry. Thankfully, the ride was over by then, and it was time to fight Salazar. The best way to deal with him is to wait beside these pillars and wait for him to open up. When he does, you want to move over to the pillar beside quickly, unlike I did here. When you successfully dodge the head attack, you want to shoot Salazar's main body and repeat that process. But as you probably have noticed, the video is almost at its end. I really tried my best here, one time even using up literally all of the ammo in my inventory, but Salazar was still not dead. I even farmed the parasites on the bottom, but that didn't work either. I even calculated the bullets in my inventory and how much damage they would do, meaning if I was to go super close and shotgun him in the face, it might have been possible. But if I was struggling for this long and still getting nowhere, it was time to call it quits. I'm definitely going to attempt this challenge again, as I've already grinded through most of it and now know the tricks, but for now, I'm just gonna leave it alone. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. I really appreciate all of the support on this channel, and if you'd like to make future videos possible, consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel. And if you want to try this challenge for yourself, probably don't for your own sanity, but if you're still going to do it, I suggest watching Waifu Runs and Angsy Tony's video to get a good idea on what to do. Lastly, thank you so much for watching. Mata ne!
Stay away from me! Don't go away!
Oh my god!